Venture on a trip down memory lane.
Remember, the vibrant district of the Grey Street Casbah has been the soul of Durban's Indian community, a place where stories are woven into the fabric of its bustling markets, historic buildings, the people, and that has shaped our legacy. From the towering Juma Masjid Mosque to the majestic Emmanuel Cathedral to the iconic tea rooms and shops that have stood the test of time. The Casbah, more than just a place, it's an experience. It's a life that seems to have faded away into memory. This will evolve into a regular Friday evening series on the show, and you can share your memories and experience and family stories with us by calling in or sending us a WhatsApp, which we will read out on the show.
Tune in to Let's Chat on Radio Ansaar and enjoy the stroll down memory lane together. Let's Chat this and every Friday at 9 p.m.
Welcome to your beautiful home, oh little child. I know that they did not care about your innocent life, but here you are, love, cherish the life without any harm. Prophet Ibrahim's waiting for you, both with Allah. Now spread your wings and you can fly away. You are home, you are free, you're forever safe. Oh, precious soul, you sweet scented rose, your life has passed, but you're here at last. Welcome home, you beautiful child. Wipe those tears from your beautiful life. One can never hurt you. We are here.
Oh, well, as the night wraps, it's quite over. The world, wrap us in your mercy. Forgive us our shortcomings, ease our burdens, and grant our peace to our hearts. Protect our loved ones, guide our steps tomorrow. Let our dreams be filled with light. Ameen, ameen for all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good evening, dear listeners of the Casbah or Radio Al Ansar family. You tuned in to another nostalgic episode of Echoes of the Casbah, where memories meet the heart and the past walks besides us like an old friend. As usual, I'm your host, Buddy Govender. Tonight we don't have our brother Faisal MJ Suleiman with me. Nonetheless, we will open the gates of nostalgia with a question that stirs the soul. If you could bring back one thing from the Casbah's past, what would it be? Come on, I'd love to hear from you today. What is it that you would bring back from back in the day? Well, would it be the scent of brill cream and the incense drifting out from the corner barbershop? Do you remember that smell? What about the aroma of Tasty Eats delish burgers? Oh, what about the laughter and banter from the town boys coming out of the Grey Street Masjid or standing on the corners? Maybe it's the excitement of the crowd spilling out onto the streets from a Saturday afternoon movie at the cinema. Well, tonight, we're not just reminiscing, we are resurrecting. So call in, WhatsApp, or simply listen up as we gather the fragments of our shared heritage and stitch them into a living tapestry. Because in the Casbah, the past isn't gone. It's just waiting to be remembered. 13 minutes after 9 o'clock.
There's a name that's on the rise, soaring high above the sky. 1400 years ago, world began in northern Nabi Muhammad. Grow to something more, face onto the floor.
So far, this show has really accelerated into very, very popular in terms of listenership. And thank you very much for all the messages and for listening up as well out there to be able to, share your memories of the Casbah with us. Remember, we used to stand on corners of the streets and, in a safe space, chatting, talking, no watches maybe sometime, no cell phones or nothing to say, well, we'll meet there at 8 o'clock. We just knew. Just hang about, so get down there and your friends will be around as well. Well, tonight I have a special guest online, and of course, he is one of the sons of the Casbah as well, and that's our brother Light Sayed. Many of you would know him from Prince Edward Street, And of course, as I said, a son of the Casbah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear Lights, how are you, my brother? Okay, we're getting him on the line. He will be with us in a sec. But we were saying, what is it about the Casbah that we actually remember or we reminisce about? What is it that we still hold in our hearts? Because back then, remember, entertainment was like skipping a rope, playing a game of marbles. What about hopscotch in the alley? Or just a game of football downstairs, kicking the ball around? To us, that was entertainment. It wasn't all the fancy Netflix and this and that, Instagram and stuff, but that was our entertainment. But talking about Instagram, if you are or wanting to watch the show live, you can get me live on YouTube, Instagram, and of course Facebook as well. As I said, son of the Casbah, indeed, one of the members of the Casbah that certainly we can call a brother, and that's our brother Lights Said. Assalamu alaikum, Lights. We're just trying to get a hold of him now. We'll get back to him in a second. As I was saying, it was, those days, entertainment to us was just hanging about on the streets, kicking a ball around or playing some marbles or having that little chat. That was what it was. These hangout spots, they sort of kept us together. I remember the boys from the corner of Prince Edward Street, and they would be, that's across the road from Ansaar's, if you know the one, heading towards the bay, that corner. And the guys would just hang about there. There was like the telephone box. And, guys would be sitting up there chatting maybe about the game that's coming up or the game that was just played or just hanging about. Nothing really sinister about it as well. Then you would walk further up towards the racecourse in a corner of Leopold Street. There was the other guys hanging about there, and there was no animosity between the groups hanging about or chatting, but we had our own safe spaces. Good Hope Center, this is where I grew up. We would hang about outside there, just sort of sit about and talk and kick a ball about, wait for a certain time before we knew we had to go upstairs because it was important that we have dinner together, we sat down. Those are some of the things I recall. But what is one of the things that I personally, would like to bring back from the past? What do you think that I would like to? Let me tell you. What I would like to bring back from those days is the lack of competition between us and more of supporting ethos that we had back in the day. There wasn't this, my Instagram is better than yours, or my outfit is better than yours, or this is better, my BMW is better. We just all had and we all shared. Didn't matter if you didn't have a car, because one of the friends would have had a car and they would have sort of just given us a lift or a ride whenever we needed to. Quite often, I remember coming back from Springfield grounds and you would just jump into one of the town boys' car. He didn't even know who was in the car probably. And you would just get a lift into Prince Edward Street. If you couldn't get into the car, there were too many, you would know there was a few guys waiting. You get a bus. You'd all move together, safe. I would like to bring that back again. Is that we didn't have this competition amongst ourselves to say who's got this that's better, who's got that more, who owns a more expensive this. Is so much of what is going on today is something that we have lost from back in the day when we all just had one football, didn't know whose it was, but it was one of the guys and we would play, or one tape recorder and you would just sort of play the stuff. Everybody would have fun off it. If you didn't have enough money and they were buying a bunny, for instance, you would have part of that bunny as well. There was no issues like, you don't have enough, so you don't come. I think today the pressure on kids or youngsters is that even if they don't have enough money, and how much you got to have to go to a restaurant today, that they would probably make an excuse not to go. Well, for us back in the day, you remember, everybody would go, your whole gang, buy that bunny and everybody would have a piece, even if it's a small piece. That's something I would like, or I feel is missing today. So you can tell me, what do you think? I'd love to hear from you. If you want to call in 060-9041-056, 060-9041-056, or you can WhatsApp me on 0861-904-904. Sorry, the WhatsApp is 060-904-1056. The phone 0861-904-904. I know that you know those numbers off by heart, and of course I can see a few messages on the line at the moment, and I will chat and I will bring them up in a sec.
The perfect creation made a light wings span the sky. He wasn't tainted. Oh, an angel. جناحه يملئ الآفاق من ريشه ينزل اللؤلؤات علمه الدين وحي يقينا معه الأمانة والرسالة لنبينا دعا إليه ربنا وسير مع الإسلام I come to you carrying the news with the religion of Islam. Oh yeah, Muhammad. Oh yeah, Muhammad.
Well, we're back again. We're talking about the Casbah. We're talking about what is it from the Casbah that you would like to bring back today that we seem to have lost. Well, let's get some of the messages right here, right now, because we're trying to get a hold of our brother Light Said. Sister Shahida, she says, brother buddy, I wish I could walk safely in West Street doing shopping. Oh, yep. Of course, just, walking into West Street through all those little lanes that take you into the main street as well. Something that today, we have a problem with that. Yes, Sister Shahida, I remember that indeed. Junaid, brother, says he loves the Memory Lane show. We enjoying the show. Last week was Bashapir. Great saying. People don't speak about the bridge not being built. I'd like to ask, what are the memories of Bashapir? That is going to be a topic to come up as well, my brother. Indeed. Do we have Brother Lights say it online? Salam Lights? Lights, Salam, can you hear us? Okay, we're still trying to get a hold of him. Well, Brother Shah Khan, of course, my brother, he says, Assalam. He says they're listening to us, and Brother Ahmed Motala is here in South Africa. Oh, salams, Ahmed. Lovely to know that you're back in town. Inshallah, I get to see you. And we used to go all over in Brother Ahmed's Motala's Volvo. What a beautiful Volvo that was, because wooden and panels, it was really something else. Well, let's have a look at if there's any other messages coming in. So what is it that we're talking about tonight? Is that we want to look at some memories. Do you miss playing in the arcades or the alleys? Do you miss walking your town like our sister Shahida said? Do you miss just hanging about downstairs, corners of Prince Edward Street, Queen Street, walking around, greeting people, the barber shops, the alleys and the streets where boys became men? Remember that? And also future professional footballers and cricketers as well. Well, come on, tell us, what is the one thing that you missed, and what is the one thing that you would like to bring back again? Let's have a look. There's a message coming in there from Brother Assad, and he says, Salams, I remember the old Indian market. My first my grandmother, I think, I'm not sure, ran the first Indian market, and I remember the workshop. The first time I went there, this message, he says, he remembers the workshop. It's message coming in from Brother Muhammad Assad from Reservoir Hills in Durban. Yes, indeed. The old Indian market. Who could forget that? The top market, as they would call it. So as I said, one of the things that I would like to bring back is this lack of take away the competition that we had. We've got so many people that actually are these influencers, so to speak. But if you find out, what do they actually do? What is it that they've done, Well, maybe they'll say, well, we've helped other people get out of, like mental issues and this and that. And that's great, life coaches and stuff. But then when you look at their lives, you think, oh my word, we need to really move forward and lose this thing and embrace everybody for all their little qualities that they have, because everybody has something important, and that something can make a huge contribution to our society.
خالدين فيها أسألك يا ربي أدخلها مع الحبيب وصحبي في خير.
A message coming in from brother Arshad Khan from Carlisle Street, and he says, Mashallah program as always. The thing I miss the most is the people. The people were the Casbah. That comes from brother Arshad Khan in Carlisle Street. Of course, without a doubt, the people is what we're talking about here. All the things that we did with the people was something unforgettable. Unforgettable.
ادخلوها بسلام لا هي جنات المؤمنين الخالدين فيها. يا من شكيت خطاياك علما بأنه يسمعنا هو الوحيد يبدل حال الحزين لمبتسما لولاك يا إلهي كنت رجائي.
Sister Nadira Khan says the one thing that she misses about town is the cleanliness of the town. Back in the day, certainly much more cleaner than it is. And really, I don't know why they can't sort that out, but thank you very much for that message. Sister Shaida Bibi Khan says, wonderful program. Those were the days. Indeed, absolutely, those were the days.
أنت تداويني إن كان ذنبي كالجبال فاغفر لي يا تواب.
Where did you hang out with your friends back in the day as well, in the Casbah? Was there a particular corner that you stood by with your mates? Did you go with your friends to somebody's house more or less every time? Well, indeed, as I said, we were in Good Hope Center. We stood outside Good Hope Center, just outside Ansaar's. That was our Wembley Stadium, let's put it that way. We would play football when it was quieter in the Saturday afternoons and a Sunday. We would hang about when it was busier, more just, against the window, always there. And we've got an iconic photo of us, something that I really, really treasure is a great photo of all the boys back in the day. Little did we realize that when we take that photo, it'll be oh so precious, one of a kind. There's nothing about that photo that you can reproduce these days. So, I hang about in Good Hope Center, and you'd like to see. Salams to our brother Faisal MJ Suleiman. He is out of the country at the moment, certainly missing you. May Allah bless you and your family. May Allah keep you safe as well, dear brother Faisal. Message coming through. It says, Salams, remember the celebrations outside the mosque entrance at Queen Street with the Indian Muslim Brigade in attendance. Also remember going for haircuts to Madrasa Arcade, tailors in Ajmeri and Madrasa Arcades, walking in West Street even late in the night. And it comes from brother Emma Farouk. Oh, thank you very much. That certainly is something that I remember fondly as well, was the Muslim Brigade coming down Grey Street. Because it was like an island in the middle. There was a railings, if you know, from back in the day. And we would sit on the railings and we would watch the Muslim Brigade. I've got a photo of that as well. I must tell you, that photo was taken when Nichols Square Garage wasn't even built. It was a park. There were trees around it. and we got the brigades moving through there. It was certainly something to behold. So, as I said, we're getting our brother Light Said on the line, of course, a son of the Casbah, and indeed somebody that got an intense, extensive history in the Casbah. Assalamu alaikum, Lights. How are you, my brother?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bashir, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I am fine. I'm fine. Good to have you online. We were battling to get you on, but nonetheless. So, Lights, I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about today, hanging about in the Casbah. You guys were from Prince Edward Street, and that was like the center of the Casbah, so to put it. Just tell us a little bit about your days from living in Prince Edward Street and how it moved later on to Victoria Street in that area.
Yeah, buddy, we grew up in Prince Edward Street, 66.
That's right.
And the street had a lot of entertainment. We had NRC and 9th floor Kismet Arcade, Teller's Snooker Club, in Kismet Arcade in the basement.
Yep.
We had Foggy's Salon there as well, which was another snooker club. And, before Ansaar's, we had a shop next door, called it a tea room.
Yep.
Fema's used to make the best cheese sandwiches.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Fema himself, if people can remember, was a fastest slicer of bread. He used to slice bread under a minute. Then we also had Khan's tea room.
Okay.
Which was a few doors away as well, too.
I know which is your favorite one, though, Lights. I know which is your favorite one. Vita Snacks. Am I right?
Oh, yeah, Vita Snacks.
That was in Admeri
But
Arcade.
in our young days, a lot of guys who stayed in town, we used to sell in the Raj Bioscope, we used to sell chips, cold drinks, interval time. And what we used to get there, then we should go Vita Snacks and have the burgers. If I'm not mistaken, he was the starter of the burgers and the steak sandwiches in town.
Could have been, exactly. Because that was certainly one of the first takeaway or fast food shops, so to speak. But when you talk about the fastest bread slicer, I'm sure you know who was the fastest bottle cap opener.
Oh, that was in Avalon Tea Room.
You know Mr. Sony, isn't it? And Ghulam.
Yeah, himself.
Ghulam and Mr. Sony.
That's quite right.
So you guys used to hang around on the corner. I remember all of you hanging about on the corner, just standing, and you always look sharp. You guys were dressed neatly. What was it that, was there any way that you will say, okay, we're meeting there at 2:00 and you must wear this, or you just knew?
Nobody, you know what, it was just at random. Most of the guys stayed in flats, and flats were mostly 2-bedroom flats.
Yeah.
So one room was for mom and dad, and the other room was for the kids. And the lounge was on the street corner.
That's right. Eh?
There was no TV at that time.
Yep.
And we just used to meet, no appointments or anything like that. Like you were saying about the bunny chow eating, whatever we had, the guys just shared it. And there was so much of barakat in the food.
Oh, man, that's something that we miss today.
I'll give you a top story here. We had the originators of the Tabligh Jamaat was Haji Bhai Padia Rahmatullah, Sayyid Saab, that was my uncle, and Mr. Arbi. Okay. And they used to meet at 66 Prince Edward Street. And we used to play soccer on the road on Sundays. And Sunday mornings, they used to meet there, have their mashuras, meetings.
Okay.
And the wisdom of Haji Bhai Padia Rahmatullah, he said, right, stop the game now. And about that time, the Coke bottle, 1 liter, the glass bottle came out. He bought a Coke and he said, right, whoever wins, I'm going to give this Coke. When we finished playing the game, the side that won, he gave them the Coke bottle and he said, this is for the winners.
Wow.
Now, because of the spirit we had, we all used to share that Coke. And how is to mark with our finger? You had to mark the bottle, drink a little, then the next guy. Can you imagine that? Would you ever think of it today?
Lights, I was
And
about to
when we
ask you,
finish
do you
playing,
think they would do that
He
today?
says, right, go home quickly, wash up, put your long pants on, and he should take us for Zohar Namaz to Grey Street Mosque.
Man, look at that, eh?
Can you believe it?
You know who was another man like that for me was Ashraf Ghani's father. You know, Mr. Ghani. I don't know if you remember him, but he was also
I
one
remember him well.
Oh man, at the Muslim youth movement there by the Muzaffar Khan, you know, on the corner of Victoria Street and Prince Edward's and Grey Street. That man was a good man. You know, he opened up that place to anyone that wanted to come and just, you know, hang about and play table tennis and stuff. But Lights, you know what? Those are memories that if you look back today, it's like a movie. Do you ever recall sometime what the discussions were about when you used to stand on the corner? What was it about?
But the discussions was generally about soccer because most of us like to play soccer. We should go to Springfield on a Saturday afternoon, take a bus from Prince Edward Street. And the guys were also heavily involved with movies. You know, it's a talk about movie stars. And that's basically what it was.
Sure.
You know, there was no real vices the guys had. Just good, clean fun, you know.
Imagine today,
and
like
Saturday night was the night out.
Yes. But imagine today, standing on the corner, you know, we were all standing and talking to each other. Today, the kids, if they stand on the corner, will all be not talking, looking at their phones. That's something.
Look, a cell phone can be good for you and bad. Like sometimes it is said, it's a cell phone or it's a hell phone.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I think it's not abused by us. The cell phone is abused by the innovators of it and with all the stuff they put on social media. So they're misleading our kids.
Like, you know, another thing about back then with us, you know, you guys that stood on Prince Edward Street, it didn't mean that people that from other streets couldn't walk past or you were in danger of your life. It was none of those things, you know. We would walk to Leopold Street, Carlisle Street, and the Carlisle Street guys would walk past you guys. Everybody would greet. Because I think back then also the one thing that we had was that everybody or most of the guys were playing football. So you knew them from playing for Bria or playing for Avalon at Celtic or playing for D'Alberton Callies or Queen Stars. And every corner we saw someone we had to stop and talk. I mean, you think about that.
You know, buddy, like you say that, you had the Crimson League. And after Crimson League came, you had on the corner of Prince Edward Street, the Young Americans.
Yep, that's right.
In Queen Street by Bon Chance.
Queen's Brigade. Yes.
You had the Queen's Brigade. Then you had Siva's Clique down in Victoria Street.
That's right.
Grey Street, you had Skeletons. Beaver Street, you had Generations. Victoria Street was so-called Settlers. Then you had in Warwick Avenue, the Dashins. And I mean, it should just go on.
Yeah, absolutely. But funny enough, we could walk anywhere though. You know, it wasn't like we were restricted and we couldn't go here and couldn't go there. So did you guys always hang about Prince Edward Street?
We were most of the time Prince Edward Street corner by Ansaar's. And I mean, it suited Mr. Ansaar fine because as long as we hanged around there, it was like indirectly company for him as he was open. And he had a very big heart too. He wasn't shy to give the boys like sausage rolls, chicken legs with rolls, tea. You know, the tea used to just roll all the time.
Remember he sponsored a trophy, right?
Went and moved to corner of Victoria Street by Avalon Hero.
Okay, yes. But Prince Edward Street and Hansas, remember he sponsored a trophy once for a football game on the street? And you were playing that day.
Yeah, quite true. And what a crowd.
I was about to tell you.
You know.
For a street game, you know, some of the current professional teams today wouldn't have are not getting those crowds. That was a huge crowd.
You know, buddy, also Prince Edward Street, by Raj Cinema in a black Monaco big car was a guy called Maxi,
Yes.
Mohan's brother.
Yes.
And he used to get us to play, and we used to play young Americans, Neville Bowes and them on the road.
Yeah.
And they should take bets on the side, you know. But I mean, we should go and play the bottom of Prince Edward Street, go play Victoria Street, Queen Street will come to us.
It's amazing, eh?
man,
Amazing.
you know
When you think about it now, amazing. But then again, also you all had one of the greatest street goalkeepers in the world, isn't it?
Oh yes, Dickie, as hot as it could be, had his jersey on.
Not just a jersey, it was like a polar neck.
Done up with Brill cream all the time.
But remember, the jersey was a polar neck. It was right up to the chin.
100%. And he was the Aces guy. He used to support Aces.
Yes.
And it was a black and white jersey. And there was a garage there in the middle where Bula Center is.
Tuckers.
The ball used to go on top. Nobody could go up to fetch the ball except Dickie on the light pole. His two legs on the wall, and he's just up, got the ball, and he slides down again. You know what? You can make a movie of this, man.
Absolutely. I'm just thinking about it because I what you're telling me now, I can see Dickie doing it right now because we all looked at him. And when we looked at him, he was like Spider-Man, wasn't it? We thought, look at this guy. Unbelievable. He just could bounce from...
You know, also to mention, buddy, we were young. The people who were older than us, they all knew one another in town. You know, like they used to greet one another, carry on. You know what? There was no animosity with one another. It was only friendship. And, you know, the way the people carried on, even the shopkeepers you knew.
Absolutely.
When you go to buy something, make a better price, and they always was there for you.
And they knew us, isn't it? But when you mentioned the older folk, you know what I'm thinking about now is Lights. You know, remember the late Jimmy Fredericks, Bossy Motala. These were big men from town, you know, Mr. Achivayed, Uncle Achivayed. These were big men. We didn't realize who we were walking amongst those days. They were giants, weren't they?
100%. And you know, Jimmy Fredericks, he had the only guy in town to have a left hand, like an imported American car. What a car he had.
Absolutely. Classy guys.
And Kismet Arcade also had on the first floor, they had a top club where guys used to come from Joburg and all that to come and play cards.
Okay. I know also right on the top there was that club Lotus, and a lot of the football teams would have all their presentations there. You know.
Oh yes, they had I think there was about, besides Himalaya Hotel, there was a top venue, you know, at that time over there, and it was absolutely good. And then I forgot to mention at that time we had the legendary Dialberton Kellys.
Oh yeah, of course.
Started by Rajendra Chetty,
of course,
Varacha brothers,
absolutely,
Soli Para, Girish Modi, and them.
And we all had to come through Dialberton Kellys, isn't it? If you lived in town and you were a footballer, you came through that part of town. You had to come through Dialberton Kellys. It was like our mother team. Am I right, Lights?
100%. You had to come through them. And it was, hey, you know what? What a team, man. You know, I had the best years of my life with Kellys.
But not just the team, Lights. No other club had that color. That color was iconic, isn't it? When you looked at it, you knew Dialberton Kellys. You didn't have to think, who is that?
Well, at that time, it was like purple was an Indian color. And nobody would have thought, how can somebody wear purple? But the way it was designed, purple, red, and white, it really stood out.
Well, just for the listeners out there, you know, Lights Sayed is talking about Prince Edward Street, but he's also touching on an important thing, and that's Dialberton Kellys. And as you know, Dialberton Kellys legendary over the decades. They weren't just football; they were hockey, they were table tennis. There was a full range of sport. Well, for all the people that had links to your Dialberton Kellys, Lights, maybe you want to tell us something, what we're planning?
Yeah, we're looking into having a national reunion of all Dialberton Kellys members, you know.
Absolutely.
because a lot of the guys are just passing away.
Yeah, yeah.
So we thought Afzal Khan, myself, and now we've got Buddy involved. We've got our committee and we're thinking of having,
Yeah.
well, we're already in the process of having in late October
Yeah.
a national reunion in one of the venues in Durban.
Absolutely. And, talking about that, it's sad because, about 2 years or a year and a half ago, our late brother, A.K. Adams, may Allah grant him the highest status in Jannah, Ameen. We were talking
Ameen.
about this, and the reason we said we must have this and we must have it quickly was that our brothers are passing away and sisters. And there goes our brother AK, he passed away. So indeed, I think all the more we should have this to honor the likes of him as well. Lights, and I think here on the show, we're going to be talking more about that reunion. But Lights, in passing, if there's anything from the Casbah that you think you'd like to bring back today that we've lost, what do you think it could be?
Buddy, it is very hard because it's just not on. It's not safe to walk in the Casbah anymore. It's changed. I hope to think if they have to get rid of some of these foreigners at the moment, that if the shops lie empty, but then I can't see the people going back.
No, I can't. Yeah, you're right.
Because if you look at us and me with a lot of the friends we have, we meet every Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Food Express in Overport.
Yes.
Hanif Hussain, who owns
Yes.
it, is one of the members too.
Yep, of course.
So what we did in town, we have a secure venue. We meet Friday, Saturday, Sunday evenings. Whoever's available, come there. And you know what? The meeting place, that's the new meeting place for most of us.
Of course.
But in my personal opinion, safety is not there in town how it used to be.
Well,
you can't hold your phone and walk there as well or anything.
Well, we can all just keep that memories in our heart. But Lights, you know what? Thank you very much for sharing your personal experience of town. If anyone could, it was you. You're certainly a son of the Casbah. There's no doubt about that. May Allah bless you and your family.
Jazakallah khair, and may Allah look after you with
Ameen.
afiyat as well.
Ameen for us all. Assalamu alaikum. That's our brother Light Said. Of course, a son of the Casbah, somebody that lived there, his family lived there, brought some great enlightenment into what living in the Casbah was. It is now 46 minutes after 9 o'clock. You with me, Buddy Govender. It's Echoes of the Casbah. We've got some messages. I'm going to read that in a bit. Let's have a listen to some nasheed. Well, there seems to be something happening with the gremlins today, but let's go into the messages. Let's have a look. Our brother Faisal Saib, he says, Salams, buddy, I really miss the neighborliness. Children used to play ball games in the evening, rounders, stinging in the middle, hoopoe. The aunties used to have sandwiches and juices ready. Also, the walk with the family into the neighborhood. Safety wasn't a concern. Also, street football, different streets versing each other. Remember, we didn't have grounds, so everything was played on the streets. Indeed, Brother Faisal Saib, as you heard Lights and myself talking about it right now, certainly that's definitely one of those things that today just somehow not really happening anymore. We seem to have lost that safetiness and things that we used to do. Message coming from Assad as well. He says, Salams, hope you're well. I've been to Patel's in Grey Street and Indian Delight. Thank you for the good show every Monday night. Take care. Salam. And that comes from Brother Mohammed. He also says he remembers Overport back in the day as well. And lovely to hear from you. Sister Aisha, she says, Salam, good show as always, brother buddy. I missed the Basha Pier, the Urus and the Kawali, and also the kebabs on the hot fire. Do you remember that? That was like the highlight of that time of the year. We'd all walk down Queen Street, past the cathedral, past the market, over into the Basha Pier, and they would be having the kawalis and they would be having the kebabs. The guys would be up against the wall with all the coals and the kebabs. And like I said, sometimes we didn't have money, but didn't mean we weren't going to eat that night. We didn't steal, no ways. But somehow food was definitely shared. There was no doubt about it that we certainly had food for everybody in the Casbah. It was something that indeed you just can't bring back today. It is 49 minutes after 9 o'clock. Any messages, please do go. We got like about 8 minutes to go. You can WhatsApp on 060-904-1056. That's the WhatsApp line into the studio right here. And of course, we're talking about echoes of the Casbah. What is it from back in the day that you would like to see back again that we seem to have lost? Certainly. Remember, every Friday we've got echoes of the Casbah, and that's coming to you via Radio Al Ansaar. We definitely got gremlins here today. There's no doubt about it. Well, let's have a look at what else is it that we remember from back in the day? As I said, entertainment was skipping a rope. It was playing marbles, hopscotch in the alley, football in the gullies. We used to call them the gullies. The Casbah just wasn't a place. It was a heartbeat. It was certainly, we had our safe spots where we hung out with our friends. We had record stores. You could stand there, have a look at what's latest, and decide if you want to just stand there and listen to it. And I'm sure they wouldn't have minded. But as I said, the alleys, the street corners, well, they were where boys became men. And of course, some of us became professional footballers and cricketers as well as professional men. A lot of people became ophthalmologists. Of a very famous ophthalmologist that came from there. Well, Sister Hasina, she says, Assalamu alaikum. Just enjoying the show. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Sister Hasina. Then a lovely message coming in, and it got no name, but it says, Salams, buddy. Yes, those were the good old days that we can only cherish in our memories. The camaraderie with neighbors of different cultures and backgrounds, exchanging recipes and stories, going to the bioscopes or the cinema, as they call them now, dressed immaculately, meeting friends and other families, the Dangies Corner Boys, the Prince Edward Street Boys, Queen Street Good Hope Center, and Ram Florist. My aunt lived in Fakhruddin Building near the famous Taj Company, and cricket and football being played on the streets. During Ramadan, the calls of Bati Hargi Rosa Kolo echoed to breakfast. We missed the night window shopping without fear of being mugged. We were footloose and carefree. The streets were clean and we were safe and sound. People came into town to shop as everything was available in every street. A variety of shops to visit. What about the popular eating places? The Golden Peacock, Victory Lounge, Hansa's, Patel's, Goodwill Lounge. Let's not forget Tasty Eats. What a nostalgic account, especially by Lights Fakhruddin. Yes, the drinking of Coke being marked with finger space. Of course, we can't forget that. What about Tani and card games too? The famous tobacconist, the arcades, Ajmeri Arcade, Rajab Arcade, etc., etc. Good show, buddy. Jazakallah khair for that one there. Lots of memories. And if you don't know yet, but last week we spoke about all the takeaways at 9 o'clock, every Friday, inshallah, at 9 o'clock. But last week was all the takeaways, and we had two iconic people in there. Mr. Muhammad of J-Mo's, and of course the son of the original Hansa's owner was live on air, and obviously we spoke about a whole lot of things. Brother, let's have a look. Abu Ahmed Muhammad Vanka is listening to my friend Light's excellent interview. Jazakallah khair for that one there. Another message says, Salams, great show as always. Yep, indeed. Talking about echoes of the Casbah every Friday, inshallah, from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I will take you back and reflect on days of our lives. There's no doubt about it. Hey, don't forget, you can get me on Instagram. I'm out there. You can follow me at Buddy Govender, the @ sign in one word, BUDDYGOVENDER. Inshallah, you can get me also tomorrow. That's 3 to 4 kickoff. I'll bring you all the latest in the world of sports. Sunday morning, inshallah, from 8 to 9, you can have breakfast with me in the Sunday morning breakfast edition, we will bring you and open up the curtains to a beautiful Sunday morning with you. And then inshallah, wrapping it up on Sunday afternoon between 4 and 5, I'll wrap up all the latest sports. You can get me throughout this weekend, and of course, plenty of other shows as well on Radio Al Ansar, the best station to bring you up to date with everything. Well, there's another message come from Brother Yusuf. In Wills Road, we used to play three tins and gully danda. Was this played in the Casbah? I don't recall. I know those games. I used to see them played by the guys at Sastry College, and these were mainly guys from out of town, and they would have these 3-10 things and this gully, I thought it was gully ganda, but it's gully danda or whatever it is. But we never played it in in Queen Street. I don't think any of the other streets played it as well. It was amazing. We had tin caps. You remember that one? All those tin caps from Durban United, Durban City, and Celtic. The three main ones that you couldn't get from Celtic, Durban United, of course, Ian Bender, and Durban City, Alex Munro. Those were some of the things that we would play tin caps for, to try and win them and, add it to our collection. We would play marble sometimes. We would play hoopoe with the girls. Yeah, we played hoopoe with the girls. We were little, but we played hoopoe with the girls. And of course, we had a whole lot of great things. One of the other things I'd like to share with you about hanging out in the Casbah was we used to have a thing called a book club in Good Hope Center. And there was a few of the girls, and it was mainly the sisters. They would have this book club, and all of us would go into their room as such and sit down and talk about a book that we read. Tell them a little bit about that book. The one thing, because there weren't many guys that were involved, and there was mostly girls, but some of the guys were there. I was one of them. And the one thing that did attract us to this book club was the girls will bake a cake. That's right. So, and you can only eat the cake after everyone's finished. So we would push on through and listen to all their stories about the books that they read. And basically the boys would only read books like Hardy Boys, easy books to read. Whereas the girls had all these, big books they would read, and we would push on, and when we were finished, they would share the cakes. Something that we cannot forget. Do you remember those things? Did you ever have that? A book club in one of the flats? Again, another message come from Brother Arshad. He says, "MashaAllah program as always. The thing I miss most is the people. The people were the Casbah." He says, "In town, we had our own games." That's right. Brother Faisal Saib says, "Buddy, I wish we had tea rooms like D Nana's where we could hang out. The boys playing carom board and thani till late in the night." Well, as you know, Brother Faisal, D Nana's are still there. Sad to see it, though, in the condition that it is, but it's still there. But no, none of the boys playing carom board or thani outside at all. Our brother Shabir Basa, salams, walaikum salam, my brother. He says, "Great show, going down memories. I don't think I was around that time, but good to hear what life was all about at that time." And that comes from Brother Shabir Basa, our own Brother Shabir Basa. Brother Faisal says, "All clean fun, and mothers knew that the boys were safe." There's no doubt about that. One thing I'd like to pick on is that we always talk about the good old days back then. It wasn't always good. Life was hard for our parents. They had jobs. I don't think they were paid extremely well. They worked. They didn't have cars. Many of them, living in town, you played in town, you entertained yourself in town. So there was no need for a car. There was taxis. The taxis was quite affordable. We had everything we wanted. Our parents, they did wonders. I don't recall us not having clothes for school or not having this. We didn't have all the fancies, but we did have everything we wanted. There was always food. There was always food for our friends. You recall going to your friend's house or flat, and the mom would say, "Eat." Today, it was like, how many is coming? Please don't bring. We don't have enough for. And yet today's. What about the bathrooms? Back in the day, our brother Lights said that we lived in little flats, 2 bedrooms and a bathroom and toilet, and our lounge was the street corners. Well, we had 1 bathroom. Everybody used 1 bathroom, 1 toilet. Nobody got late for school. Nobody got late for work. Today, we have 2, 3 bathrooms in our homes. Always somebody's getting late or making you late. That's something also that indeed is something that's missing. Well, there you go. Trust that you enjoyed that. I really, really, really did. It's so enlightening. It touches my heart when I talk about days back in the Casbah, and I'm sure it does you as well. But as we fold today's story into the fabric of memory, well, indeed, we've got so much to be grateful for. It is something that we all live through. Yep. We remind ourselves that entertainment was not about what we had, but who we had it with. Like we said, we played all these games. It wasn't the games. It was who we were playing with, who we were standing and talking with. The Casbah gave us more than hangouts. It gave us a belonging. But as you sip your tea or eat that curry and roti, remember the laughter at the tables with friends and families that once echoed through our youth. Well, each message tonight, and thank you very much for all the messages, was a thread in the tapestry of our heritage. Proof that the past isn't just behind us, it's alive in our longing, our laughter, our love for this place that we call home, the Casbah. So whether you brought back a scent, a sound, a face, or a feeling, thank you for keeping the Casbah alive. Until next time, keep your stories alive and your spirit rooted. This is Buddy Govender signing off from Echoes of the Casbah, where the past isn't forgotten, it's just waiting to be heard. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you and yours. Stay blessed.
Radio Ansaar. AI is changing the way we teach and learn. Are you ready to keep up? Join us for a dynamic seminar on how educators can harness artificial intelligence effectively in the classroom. Ansaar Hall, Overport, Saturday, 6 September from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tickets 150 Rand, available at the Ansaar shop.
MSJ RB Foundation invites you to the Milad ul-Nabi, a blessed spiritual gathering celebrating the birth and legacy of our Master, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam,